It's Sunday. That means it's time for a mental health break. My name is Vincent A. Lancy, and I have an incredible guest with us today who's going to talk about practical frameworks for building self-trust, insight into why people struggle to speak up and choose themselves, actionable tools to move from hesitation to empowered decision making. We're bringing on the Permission Mission author, Dr. Cindy. Thank you for joining us on your book tour.
Thank you so much for having me, Vincent. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. And one of the cool things about a podcast, everyone, is you can do this virtually with people all around the world and country. I'm in Florida. She's temporarily in Seattle, Washington, going back to San Francisco. So, everyone, your story is impactful. Please be sure to share it, whether on a podcast, a book, or with a mentee. Again, let me welcome you back to a mental health break. You see it and you hear it in my voice. We have a very special interview today, and we're brought to you by Living Proof TBI Coaching. If you want to take your TBI out of the rearview mirror and into your future and control your life again, that is the place to start. And I can't be more excited because so many topics that you like to talk about, Cindy, resonate with me, and I know will resonate with some of our audience. I touched on a few, but why waiting for permission keeps us stuck, I think is so important. I can't wait to talk on that and how to identify and silence internal backup singers. I haven't heard of it referred to that, so I'm going to coin you with that and credit you with that. I think the itty bitty committee in our head, right? It's always talking and how we control that. But before we get to that, Cindy, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience and ultimately what led you to work in this field.
So I was a college professor a long, long time ago and worked with, the 18 to 22-year-old crowd, went into consulting, been running my consulting practice for, wow, almost 2 decades. That's hard to say. Very grateful for the opportunity to work with so many people. But in the work that I do as an executive coach and working with companies, I saw so many accomplished people still struggling with the ability to give themselves permission. These were people that were doing amazing things, yet struggling with imposter syndrome, getting in their head, that itty bitty committee in their mind. And I started recognizing that there was a pattern with it. And it wasn't a lack of confidence, it was a lack of permission, getting in our own way. And I said, there's got to be something to this. And that's what led me to write the book. And I said, I feel like I can help people if I can just figure out what the issue is. And so I started doing research on it, went back to my, PhD geek roots and started digging in. And that's what led to the book.
It's a very interesting topic, and I know how able we are to resonate with others because we all face this different voices in our head. When you were a little girl, though, did you think you'd grow up to be a published author?
Oh, not at all. When I was a little girl, I was going to be Wonder Woman, of course, right? Like, wasn't everybody going to be a superhero of some sort? I wanted that invisible plane.
I love it. Now, when you were writing this book, did you find any mental health benefits from the act of writing this book? For me, I found it very therapeutic, and I always like to ask the same of other authors.
Absolutely. So I have a really weird way that I write books, and I write by post-it note to start,
Okay.
but my process is kind of cathartic and it is my mental health journey. I do a lot of writing, and it's my creative process. Do by pencil, like pencil first in a notebook. Then I actually do by post-it. Then I take breaks. I do a lot of walking. I do a lot of mental health breaks for myself. I actually go away quite a bit where I go to different locations. I need that stimulation of a new spot. I have a very secret thing that I do, which I'll share with your listeners, which is I eat cereal. I don't ever do that other than when I'm writing.
Interesting.
And I'm not talking about the healthy stuff. It's a mental health break for me, though, or it's like a treat.
Uh-huh.
And it's a lot of self-care through the process, especially something like this, because it's really personal. It's quite vulnerable to share this. There's a lot of me in this book, and that's scary to share that with the world. So I felt like I needed to do more self care with this book than with some of my other ones, just because there was a lot more personal information that I was sharing.
So many good points, and thank you for taking that courageous step to share your story. Everyone, I know it is not easy, but I'd like to challenge you to remember our stories are bigger than us. We may feel like we're alone sometimes in this path, but for example, me, I'm not the only person to get hit by a car. I'm not the only person with a traumatic brain injury, right? So when I finally recognized that side of things, I felt more comfortable sharing my story because it is our story. It is what we've gone through, and nothing's going to change that. But if we do share it, we may be able to help other people along the way again in these similar shoes.